where we were asked to reduce the number of, or percentage of high versus low exceptions that we account for in the high-low exceptions count into 9,500. And doing that calculation, 86% of those exceptions were for high versus low that we generated, exceptions. Any questions? So if you look on page 2, you have the graph display of our percentage of exceptions versus number of bills generated. Year over year, September 2018, we do see that we have a slightly less number of bills generated versus exceptions. Our numbers are a little bit higher this year, and we did a little talk, a conversation around what would cause that number to generate. And we do understand that the resident count in the county has increased, as well as with some of the new processes that we put into place in our building department, that we have added additional flags where we can take a closer look at some of the bills that are going out, which may generate additional exceptions to ensure that we are working through those bills to send out more accurate billing, so we take a closer look at those, so our exception number has increased with those additional flags. And as I move into the conversation for the disputes that we received for the month of September, year to date, our average number of disputes we received was 658. Our disputed bills account for less than 1% of our 12-month rolling average of 14,000 bills generated. 99% of the disputes we received in September are for 2019 bills, year 2019. 464 open disputes at the close of September were moved into October bills that becomes our disputes we were working. 91% of the top call reasons are customers relating to high bills they received. And 26% of the 458 disputes we received rolled over from the previous month. On page 3, we are displaying each month for a year the number of disputes we received. And we have a slight reduction in September of 2019 in comparison to last year, but not a big number, but we only received 458 disputes for September of 2019. And the number of disputes, the top dispute call reasons remain the same as it was for August of 2019. The top call reason was high bill. The second was privately billed after final meter check, and final bill was the top 5. And if we look at the number of disputes received per month in the graph that we have displayed here, we like to take a look at what our average number of disputes were for the previous year versus what we are doing today in 2019. And our average for last year was 603, and for September of 2019, we are below the average of the number of disputes we received last year. Any questions?
I've got a question. Do we, and this may be further along in the report, but do we have a breakdown of which disputes are from the new meters that are being installed?
No, I do not have a breakdown.
Okay, what happens when we put those requests in? Because that was put in August to have that.
I know we asked for how many disputes were resolved first for a meter change out, and we identified that 4 disputes that we received were resolved due to a meter change out, but I did not know we were wanting to track the disputes that were based off of the meter change out.
Yeah, for the new day project side of it, just for a comparison basis, you know. And I think that this may happen a few times at this meeting, because the August meeting where the request was made was when Andromika was here, so I'm sure now with somebody else taking over, some of that might get, or July, yeah. Okay, yeah, if you could put that down for next time.
Is the information
Okay,
available?
moving forward on page 4, this, we report this on a monthly basis, which is to say, an overview of the dispute updates. And the results are listed below, that 94% of the disputes that we received from the advisory board, 16 out of 17 of disputes we have communicated to the customers who you all have brought to us. And we have communicated to them by methods of email, phone, and a letter. And the results of those disputes are displayed in a graph. We have closed or resolved 88% of those disputes. 15 out of the 17 have been resolved and closed. And on page 5, we did list the breakdown of each of those 15 disputes, what the dispute was, the resolution, and the date that we closed those. I think that was also a request.
Thank you for that.
And on page 8 is a display of the 2 pending disputes that we have, that we received from the board. And those 2 are in the other status where we are in the process of reviewing those disputes with our executive leadership team to make a decision. What else, page 6. Page 7, we replaced our dispute process that we usually have listed out in the report to display the process flow that we're using to resolve the disputes that, or issues that we have that come into the contact center. And I'm gonna refer to Ms. Ferguson to review that process.
Okay, well, we got a big, I mean, you all have a copy of it there, so it's okay. I'm gonna read from the actual page, but, let me put on my specs, because you don't know. The age behind. Okay, so the teams worked closely together, Watershed as well as, the finance and, contact center group, to kind of take a deep dive into the perception that some of the, accounts were taking longer, some people felt that they were in dispute and they weren't being responded to. So what we found was, quite frankly, there were some gaps in what was perceived as a dispute. So, with much conversation, what we came up with was a process by where it's an issue. So we don't have to, upon, initial contact from the customers calling the contact center, if it's an issue where one may think that's not necessarily a dispute, we started out as an issue. If that person is not able to resolve it, then it moves through the various steps you have here. The yellow squares represent all of the points of contact with the customer, so I'll just briefly walk you through it. Initially, when a customer will contact the call center and the customer service representative takes the call, if it is necessary for a work order to be issued, that work order is issued, and then that goes to an analyst or supervisor by way of report so that there can be tracking. Because prior to us making those changes to the process, what would happen is the customer would be asked to call back for those results. So we looked at it and found that that wasn't quite as customer friendly as we thought. It didn't really hold us as accountable as we should be to responding to the customer. So what we've done is change the process so that we're tracking each of those to the point and calling the customer back with the results, at least making an attempt to contact the customer. So as you see, once the reports are run, there is a centralized place, that's the other key point, there's a centralized place where all of those issues are maintained until the point that they are actually resolved and closed, or until they're sent to the actual dispute team. So we have teams of varying skill set and varying knowledge bases, and so what we've done is taken it. So once it gets to the point where it gets in the work order, the list is updated, it's assigned to a core team member who will be calling the customers back with the results of said work order. Once they review the tracker and they report the customer with the results, or with the service level agreement to get back with the customer 10 business days. At that time, if the customer is satisfied with the dispute and resolved, then we will close it out, and that will be the end of that. If in fact that is not satisfactory with the results, or then they will transfer the dispute to the customer assurance group. So let me just backtrack. We do make 3 attempts to contact the customer from the 14 who's going to be reporting what the work order results are, have shown. If in fact they're not able to get with the customer after 3 attempts, then that issue, if you will, is closed out without further attempts to contact. So we do make 3 attempts at 3 different opportunities, and if the customer doesn't respond, then we go ahead and move on. Because they're certainly able to call back and go through the process again. So once it goes to the customer assurance team, by way of the tracker, they will reach out to the customer with a letter, which states that within 10 days, business days, they will, basically they'll identify who their case manager is. So they communicate, and the resolution to the customer, if it's satisfactory, whether or not it's satisfactory, they will close the dispute, and that will end the actual dispute. If it is not, then it is forwarded to senior leadership for additional review. And again, in terms of contact with the customer, the contact assurance team will make 3 attempts. If those 3 attempts are not successful, they will also be sent a no contact letter. And once they resolve the dispute, or we communicate the resolution to the customer, 3 attempts are made, that dispute is closed out. Moving from senior leadership to their review of it, they will receive the dispute, review, either they will make a resolution to it, that information will be sent with the results of their determinations, and if the customer disputes it, then of course the way forward is to arbitration. If they do not, then the case is closed. So from arbitration, they will review the dispute, and then the dispute findings would be final. So basically, what we've come up with is a better way of tracking what would start out in many cases as an issue, because quite frankly, every time someone calls and says they have a problem with the bill is not a dispute. For example, sometimes customers are calling, they have a leak. That's not a dispute. What's that dispute is, if you know you have a leak, then the bill is not wrong. It's just you may need to be made aware of what the administrative policy surrounding a leak looks like. Or we could have landlord-tenant situations where the landlord has been charged with the bill that, and so those are really issues that generally can be, resolved within the contact center. So because everybody is, on the cusp of what's the dispute, what's not, it's just easier to track every issue until the point of resolution, and making sure that we keep and we respond back to the customer as opposed to asking them to call us. But for one thing, sometimes we don't know at the onset exactly when the field support is necessary, when the work order information will be back. So it's not customer friendly really to say 7 to 10 days. So if they call on the 7th and it's not there, then we can call on the 8th, 9th, and 10th. So it just kind of gives the customer a little bit more comfort to know that we're going to track it, they're going to hear from us, and we've set that expectation at service level agreement of 7 to 10 days. 10 business days, as opposed to 7 to 10 for them to call back. So yes, ma'am.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
After it goes from the customer assurance team to senior leadership,
Yes, ma'am.
and senior leadership is reviewing,
Mm-hmm.
does the customer have any opportunity to interact with senior leadership to quote unquote present their case to arbitration?
Okay, so let me say this, and then I can defer to Ms. McNabb, who's the senior leadership that typically gets that. Before it is sent to her, she is provided with all of the support, and whatever the request is, the ask of the customer, the customer assurance team puts that together in a packet. So what she has, she's reviewing all of that information, so typically, Swag and Intake and Customer Assurance has asked the customer, just basically, what is it that you're asking, what is it that you need, and then it's sent to senior leadership. And I think at the point of senior leadership, I'll let her speak to how she may reach out or what that process is, because we're not necessarily privy to that. Ms. Diane, do you would?
Yes, we take all of the data, because we get sent everything that has been reviewed. We take all that data and basically review it from scratch again, from top to bottom. Occasionally, we'll have an additional question or two, and we will actually reach out to the customer and ask for that additional information, until we come to a conclusion. Now, once we come to a conclusion, we communicate that to the customer, and if the customer wishes to go to arbitration, then we'll schedule arbitration, and that's the point at which they'll be able to present all of their information.
Okay, and then arbitration, along with the customer and yourself, senior leadership, make a decision whether the final decision is whatever. And is that decision then given to that customer in writing?
It'll be given to the customer in writing, but it will be, the arbiter that makes the decision.
Okay, and
And
What I'm trying-
we have to adhere to whatever the arbiter arrives.
exactly, and so what I'm trying to get to is that when customers then present to the public that I didn't get a hear and I haven't heard from anybody, this is the process by which they have, and then all of this is now then documented.
Mhm.
Okay.
Who is the arbitrator?
We have our law department has set up, a number, I don't know who they are, it's, a pool of, retired lawyers, I believe, I think most of them are probably retired, I'm not gonna say all of them are, but a group of lawyers who will hear the case.
From a bias standpoint, I would hope that it would be somebody, the lawyers aren't related to the to the county. Okay.
Not at all.
How were they selected?
That I'll have to ask our, attorney.
Okay,
I can get that
Sure.
information for you.
okay.
And are these, follow-up question, are these attorneys, arbitrators, /
They're trained arbiters.
trained arbiters? That's what I, like, what are the qualifications?
Yeah.
And are they citizens of DeKalb? I'm trying to get for the record that these are not just people pulled out of the sky somewhere.
Okay.
And I want that to be very clear to the public. And I also want to ask, are these arbitrators necessarily citizens of DeKalb?
I'll find out.
And do they have to be?
What kind of time frame are you looking at if you're gonna move forward with the arbitration from the time that decision is made until that it actually happens? And what happens in the interim with the bill?
So the kickoff would be the customer saying they wanted to go to arbitration. And that I'll have to get, it shouldn't be long, I mean, because it's just a matter of picking an arbiter.
Mm-hmm.
Can we put in there, just like the rest of the graph, Attorney McNabb, 10 days?
Let me double check.
10 days to be consistent with what we're trying to do?
I will shoot to see if 10 days works out. I know that one of the issues that we can run into is whether a customer can actually take time out of their schedule
Exactly.
to have a meeting within 10 days.
But then that's at the customer's behest.
Mhm.
What I would like to see is that we have a policy
Okay,
as a county. So then when somebody does want to come to arbitration, they know what the parameters are. And if I got a $10,000 water bill that I've been screaming about for whatever length of time, I would think that I would really,
So let me just interject here, because I do understand what the ask is, but given, when we're talking about arbitration, there are some things surrounding that process that may not be feasible for us to say 10 days. We can say pretty much with substantial certainty within our internal process that 10 days is a reasonable time frame. But I think that upon engaging the services of attorneys, be they retired or otherwise, I don't think the expectation should be that we're gonna have a timeline as slim as that. That's my first point. My second point would be, while we do understand the customer's level of frustration if they feel like they're to the point of arbitration, they are not under any obligation to pay any of the charges that are in dispute. They're not being negatively impacted, so we would have to simply ask for their patience as we work through that process. But I don't think that it's going to be, again, Ms. Diane will take it and find out from legal. But I think as we're sitting here today, I think being realistic is really important. I don't think 10 days is
well,
probably.
I'm not locked into the 10
Right, I
days.
just wanted to make sure.
What I'm locked into is that the public perception is,
Got it.
because what ends up on the news at 5 o'clock is that I went to arbitration and I haven't heard anything for 30 days. That's where I want
I don't
us to
think
build.
there's been arbitration.
I want us to build into the ask, at least a
Whatever that
parameter.
Yes, ma'am, I got you.
So the expectation, whether it be 10 days or 30 days.
right, just for us to have
A
a
timeline.
timeline.
Exactly.
I don't think
Yeah,
that's
that's
unreasonable at
reasonable.
all. Okay?
I have one more question. As far as what a customer would need to bring for documentation, to defend themselves during that process and the fact that they think their bill is fair, is that going to be something that is communicated? Because I have a lot of people coming to me saying, I know that this bill isn't right, but I don't know how to prove it. And so they're wanting consumption numbers versus meter readings and things of that nature. I think that if we're gonna provide that process, the arbitration process, I think it's only fair for residents to be able to have access, to that information that's easy to get. And I think that needs to be communicated starting now,
Well,
that
I
people
think
can request that.
Yeah, we can set up some sort of process where they can call and request data
Mhm.
if they wish. Given, as we, are in the process of changing our systems out,
Mhm.
we do not have a way for customers to access that data themselves.
So can you see, like, in that situation, how that would, the county has all the information, and then you've got an 80-year-old resident sitting there with nothing but her opinion, and some notes. How are they gonna
As I
win?
said, if they wanna see what the readings are, we can print out the readings and send them to them.
Okay, so the communication is missing, though, that residents can access that information other than going through public, open records requests.
So I guess I just wanted to clarify, because when you say readings, the readings are what's on the bill that the customer.
Well, it should be. I've seen a number sent over where they accessed their records. They did an open records request, and it was clearly different numbers. To one of them, 30,000 gallons.
Well, it's not, a reading can be on there and then and it be a no, you gotta know how to read it, basically, because it can be a reading that says no invoice. And then it.
No, it was two different
Whether or not it's a
numbers.
reading versus the actual consumption, which is calculated from the reading, but either way, it can be confusing.
Uh-huh.
We have no way of knowing what the circumstance is at this point without having that specific account, but it
Sure, I'll show it to you after the meeting.
But wouldn't some of that, another question, wouldn't some of that back up on your graph? Wouldn't some of that have been given when it says customer center, right there in the first big yellow block? Report results to customer within 10 business days, review accounts on Tracker Daily for work order results, et cetera, et cetera. Wouldn't some of that data be to that customer that's okay, I'm already in dispute, and I'm going through this graph, okay? I would have a crazy bill in my hand, if you will, and then I call and I wanna dispute it, then your office is going through all of this information, giving me some fact-based data, if you will. I'm still not satisfied. So then by the time I get down to senior leadership and ready to go to arbitration, because I have that right as a customer, I have a certain amount of data, do I not?
Yes.
Well, you have, go ahead.
You definitely, I mean, you have data, as was mentioned, on every single bill you receive that shows exactly what the readings were, and how the consumption was calculated every single billing period.
Okay,
And if
so,
you wanted other data, that, all they have to do is ask, that's provide, we send readings, we send, payments, it's the customer's account information.
right.
So there is,
So I'm not going to arbitration blindly, cause I'm.
right, I mean, and if it's and I do understand your point as a, what would it be fair to the citizen? I frankly think we can come up with a list of items that we will provide the customer so that they can have it, that we'll make sure that they have a copy of whatever relevant work orders, readings. I mean, there's nothing that's a secret in us.
Right,
The
right.
customer, at the point we're talking to them in this first yellow block, it's typically through a phone conversation where we're verbally communicating what the results are of, said work order. If the customer asks for the work order, we provide them with a copy of the work order, so.
I think we could be proactive
Absolutely,
and
that's
building again, Diane, into the system, the stuff that a customer may need
Before they go to arbitration?
if they want to go to arbitration. These are the things that we provide, and then maybe even have a questionnaire. Do you feel like there's anything else you need that is not here?
Okay.
Cause I don't know what I don't know.
So what we'd be talking about though, are only those people who at the conclusion have said, I'm still not satisfied, I wanna go to arbitration.
That's right.
So there would be only those people that we would provide that
That's right.
information, because
That's
that's and we don't mind at all, but it is a very manual process.
Yes, yes, understand.
So-
And yes, that's what I'm asking for.
Go ahead, Rick.
So,
Yes, sir.
although I hadn't experienced, appeals and hearings here as it relates to water bill, in other governments or utilities, ultimately, if it's going before, independent party arbitrator, they would typically have access to the same files in which we made our basis of our decision. So it wouldn't, it's not gonna be a situation where our customer wouldn't have access
Yeah.
to the information that is used for the basis of our decision. So, I mean, it's just.
Well, I think it's, to you, it's very much like, well, yeah, it's available, but unless it is clearly stated and communicated, that 80-year-old lady in South DeKalb has no idea that she
Well, I think
has the
that-
ability to ask for that.
That, I think Reggie brings up a really good point in that maybe what our process needs to include for arbitration is anything that we include in the packet for the arbiter, we give the customer the exact same packet, okay? Of whatever we're gonna give
Exactly.
to the arbiter.
So,
And that would be in support of whatever we believe the proper bills to be. Now, as far as, and I can tell you, we're very sympathetic to those folks. And it's not just 80-year-olds that have difficulty, understanding and getting through it. And that our customer service people are trained to try to help you get through that. If they want more advanced, discussions, I think we'd have to take that to the table and see maybe if we could come up with some ideas for what you're trying to accomplish.
So one of the things, you know, I was curious about with the new meters, you've got FlexNet, so you've got the hourly usage, and there's a portal that you can give access to customers for a fee, correct? If you subscribe to it?
That feature exists.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we currently.
Yeah, you don't currently
subscribe
have
to
it.
So it would just have to be, you know, if it's a business decision made that that's what we're gonna do. And more than likely, once we migrate all meters to that, it'll be a benefit. And I'm pretty sure at that time we'll offer some type of service as such.
Yeah,
Well,
because,
But because we got so many different platforms right now. it's just
sure, it wouldn't work right
complicated.
now. I'm more talking about moving forward. Because I think about the amount of resources, as far as the customer assurance department goes, the calls they're taking, I feel like if a customer can log in, see what's going on, that might eliminate some of that. I mean, that's what other municipalities do.
Yeah.
And especially from a transparency standpoint, if that's what we're still going for.
Yeah, I think that we wanna see like how it all integrates into Enquesta.
Uh-huh.
And that's the missing piece. Right now, we don't have a consistent platform to manage exactly what you're suggesting.
Our goal would be to make it seamless,
Yeah,
so that the customer doesn't feel like they gotta log into Enquesta. Well, now they want something else, so they're gonna log out of Enquesta, and then they've gotta remember what their login for this other system is. And so we'd rather attempt to make it a more seamless. I'm not gonna guarantee, John's gonna give me a good, I'm not gonna guarantee that we can do it, but that would certainly be one of our goals, to make
Yeah,
it more
definitely,
user
look,
friendly.
right now, we've got CPAC, we've got interfaces to Oracle, we've got other systems, some are integrated and some aren't. Our goal is gonna be to automate as much as we can automate, and to the extent that we can provide a customer-facing portal that will provide them with as much capability, transparency, and access to information, that is the goal of what we're doing with Enquesta. I don't know today that we know the 80 things or the 50 or the 100 things that we can do within that portal framework. I think we're still learning that. But that definitely is the goal, is anything that can be done, because we're in a modernized technology that will actually provide one portal rather than, we've got CPAC, we've got a payment vendor portal, we've got another portal where you can look at your bill, and seamless, integrated, hopefully one-stop. That is the goal of where we're heading. We're still not completely familiar with the overall portal aspect of Enquesta yet, though.
But that's definitely our goal, because that will make our lives easier. To be able to have the customer access their own information.
Okay.
What happens if a customer is in the minority and just doesn't have internet access? I mean, we're making the assumption that everybody's on internet in
Well,
everything we've discussed.
That's why I mentioned to Star just a few minutes ago about the 80-year-old, and I don't mean to be disparaging to octogenarians by any means, but, we'll come up with something. We'll develop some sort of, because that always is a concern I have, is folks that don't have internet access.
Well, I think they could still go the old route, right? You still offer them, you can call in or fax a request or whatever is,
I don't know what's available. That's
So
what we're
nobody
trying to
knows,
discover.
yeah.
And we're gonna be no less better, how do I say that? We will not have any less capabilities now, because people will still be able to call in, we'll still be doing the recording, we'll still be doing the training based on the recording.
Exactly.
So all of those technologies that have already been implemented over the last couple of years,
Still be
those
there.
will stay engaged, refreshed as needed, and integrated as needed. It's just really looking to Star's point, are there other things that we aren't doing today and that technology may enable that we might be able to incorporate? And again, whether it's phone technology or, you know, to your point, some people can't use technology at all, and they're just still gonna have to, they get their bill, they put a stamp on it, they send it in, and making sure that we can accommodate all of those types of questions that could occur as well.
And to your point, we mail 80-year-olds or 30-year-olds or whoever, copies of, we get copies of their bill, the payment history, their consumption. We do all of those things today, if the customer has that concern. Are there any other questions regarding the?
Ms. McNabb, can you just general summarize, I know you've been taking notes about different things that we asked you. So can you just kind of do a summary so we can have it on file of what you're gonna look into?
Okay, you mean from the start? We're gonna find out how arbiters are selected and whether they're DeKalb residents. We're going to, explore what kind of, timeline commitment we can make as far as when arbitration will occur and when a decision will occur. And then on, as far as the documentation, we'll make sure that the customer receives the same documentation that the arbiter is going to receive. I took some notes about what we're gonna do on Enquesta, but, and then we need to come up with some, sort of help for the non-internet savvy folks when that occurs. Maybe as part of our transition to, because I'm sure we'll have some customer education for, especially, what will be for those that are internet savvy, and then we'll have some customer education for those that aren't.
Okay. Thank you.
Didn't we have another one too about trying to put in a time frame for how long the arbitration process was gonna last?
Yeah, we're gonna try to come up with, the deadline for when the hearing, a timeline for how many days till a hearing, and then from the hearing, how many days till you get the decision.
Perfect, thank you.
I have a question about the outbound team portion where it says report results to the customer within 10 business days. Who oversees that timeline to make sure that that's happening? Is this the goal, or is this currently what you're saying is happening? That the customer receives?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Chantel. I'm the customer care manager for UCL.
Okay.
My team is the one who is making those outbound calls.
Okay.
The 10 business days is because it may take up to 10 business days to get the results from field services when we submit the work order. And that is our timeline to contact